Landlord Dave Miller stood in the hallway of his rental property, his jaw literally hanging open. He wasn't looking at a dirty carpet or a hole in the drywall. He was looking at a living, breathing swamp. In the middle of the master bedroom, where a king-sized bed should be, sat a professional-grade koi pond, 600 gallons of filtered water, rare fish, and an artificial waterfall. Renter Marcus Thorne stood next to him, holding a handful of fish flakes, looking completely unbothered.
I followed the rules, Dave.
Marcus said with a chilling level of calm. He didn't blink, he didn't apologize. He just pointed at the lease. The narrator's perspective, hold on a second. Did he just say he followed the rules? Unless the lease explicitly says, feel free to turn the master suite into a tributary of the Amazon River, I think Marcus is living in a different dimension. This isn't a home improvement project. This is a asterisk structural execution. In the next few minutes, we're going to see how a perfect tenant turned a quiet suburban home into an asterisk hydrological nightmare and the asterisk insane legal loophole he tried to use to get away with it. Dave Miller had owned this property for 10 years. It was his retirement plan, his nest egg. And for the last 2 years, Marcus Thorne was the dream tenant. Marcus was an IT consultant, quiet, professional, and always 5 days early with the rent. Dave felt like he'd won the landlord lottery, but then came the humidity event. It started with a call from the downstairs neighbor, a woman named Mrs. Gable. She said the air in the building felt thick, like she was living in a steam room. Then the walls started to weep, real condensation running down the paint. Dave thought it was a pipe burst. He rushed over with a plumber, ready for a standard leak. The narrator's perspective, a pipe burst would have been a blessing compared to what was behind that door. When Dave turned the key, he didn't find a leak. He found an asterisk tropical rainforest. The air was 95% humidity. The hardwood floors were warped into waves. Every window was covered in thick green algae. Marcus had removed all the furniture. He had installed industrial-grade UV grow lights. He had turned the living room into a ferns and moss sanctuary. And the bedroom? That was the crown jewel, a custom-built pond resting directly on the subfloor. The narrator's perspective, look at the weight limits, people. A gallon of water weighs 8 pounds. 600 gallons? That's nearly asterisk 5,000 pounds of pressure on a floor meant for a mattress and some pillows. The house was literally asterisk groaning under the weight when the case hit the courtroom. Everyone expected Marcus to fold. How do you defend turning a rental into an aquarium? But Marcus brought a secret weapon, a very specific, very poorly worded addendum to the lease. Clause 14, Marcus's lawyer stated, adjusting his glasses. The tenant is permitted to perform minor aesthetic enhancements and interior landscaping to reflect their personal lifestyle. The narrator's perspective, landscaping? Inside? Usually that means a fiddle leaf fig or a few succulents on the windowsill. Marcus took interior landscaping and decided it meant civil engineering. The asterisk audacity to claim a pond as a minor enhancement is truly next level. Dave was livid. He took the stand, his voice shaking. He ripped up the flooring. He installed a high-voltage pump system through the master bath. The structural beams are rotting. It's organic, Marcus retorted from the defense table. I was improving the air quality. I was creating a sustainable living environment. Dave even saw my plants 6 months ago and said they looked vibrant. The narrator's perspective? Wait, did he really just try to gaslight the landlord? Dave saw a few ferns in the hallway 6 months ago. He didn't see the asterisk indoor Everglades Marcus was building behind the bedroom door. The lies are starting to unravel, and Marcus is sweating, and not just because of the 90-degree humidity in his apartment. The conflict escalated when Dave's plumber testified. He revealed that Marcus had tapped directly into the main water line, bypassing the meter. He wasn't just destroying the house, he was stealing the water to do it. The courtroom erupted. Marcus's sanctuary was starting to look like a criminal operation. The judge had seen enough. He looked at the photos of the sagging ceiling and the mold-infested drywall. Then he looked at the lease. Mr. Thorne, the judge said, his voice cold enough to freeze that koi pond solid. A lease is a contract based on the reasonable person standard. Is it reasonable to assume that interior landscaping includes a half-ton aquatic habitat on the second floor of a wood frame building? Marcus tried to argue. He called himself a biophilic visionary. He said the house was now a piece of living art. The narrator's perspective, living art? More like an asterisk living lawsuit. You can't just call a disaster art and expect the bill to disappear. The judge is about to drop the hammer, and it's going to be heavy. The ruling was devastating. The judge declared that Marcus had committed voluntary waste, a legal term for intentionally destroying a property. The landscaping clause was ruled inapplicable because Marcus had bypassed building codes and structural safety. The ruling, Marcus was ordered to pay $72,000 in restoration costs. he was evicted immediately. And the best part? The judge ordered the local animal control to seize the koi, which were being kept in unregulated and dangerous conditions. The narrator's perspective, even the fish got a better deal than Dave. Marcus walked out of that courtroom with a $70,000 debt and not a single fern to show for it. Asterisk justice served. But Dave's house will never be the same. This is the ultimate landlord horror story. It shows you that even the perfect tenant can have a calculated obsession that ruins your life. Marcus thought he was smarter than the law. He thought a few vague words in a lease gave him the right to play God with someone else's property. The narrator's perspective. Honestly, if you want a swamp, move to Florida. Don't build one in a 3-bedroom ranch in Ohio. It's not that hard, guys, so I have to ask, who is the real villain here? Is it Marcus for his absurd lack of boundaries? Or is it Dave for not checking on his property for 6 months? And if you walked into your rental and found a waterfall in the bedroom, what would be your very first move? Drop a comment below. I want to hear the most insane things your tenants or landlords have ever done.